You won't believe this. Maxine Waters has turned bullish on crypto. I have to share the statement she made yesterday. And Gary Gensler went on CNBC today and made a fool of himself, but made some interesting statements with regards to how he's approaching crypto. And Robinhood is going to launch a stablecoin. This is big. Let's get into the details. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we have to start by taking a look at the price of Bitcoin because it is over $65,000 once again. It had a nice little run up today and things are looking very bullish. Now, we have to be cautiously optimistic. This rally has to prove itself that this is indeed the breakout to new all-time highs, because one could argue the bottom is not in yet. It may be in, but I can't give you full confirmation there because I don't have a crystal ball. But a lot of signs and signals and metrics are pointing that the bottom is already in, but you never know. I've seen fake outs in this market, guys. I've been here since 2016. This is why I always state, let's be cautiously optimistic until the rally proves itself. So we don't want to get too excited, but once it does prove itself, then we can be happy and excited. So I hope you understand the methodology here. Now, analyst Matthew Hyland said Bitcoin is attempting to make its first higher high in 6 months. So this is part of the let's see what it does, right? It has to prove itself. It has to confirm that this is indeed a breakout to new highs. But guys, September is coming to an end. We're headed to October, right? Historically, Q4 has been very great for the markets, and we're expecting Bitcoin and altcoins to start rallying. Now, I think Bitcoin may steal the show initially, right? A lot of liquidity goes into Bitcoin. It pumps, it hits an overbought zone. Then the liquidity starts to trickle to layer ones like Ethereum and Solana, XRP, Cardano. Then it'll flow down to other altcoins. We've seen this time and time again. So this is why you have to be patient and understand the market cycles. And of course, we're still waiting for the DXY to break down. I still think it may find some short-term strength and bounce up and then ultimately break below 100, where I believe it's going to be full risk on. A lot of investors will start moving their capital into risk assets like Bitcoin, crypto, and the stock market. Keep in mind what I've been sharing with you guys for months. That is, in money market funds, there are over $6 trillion in cash. A lot of that is going to go into risk assets because the Fed is cutting rates. So understand you have all these different catalysts happening in addition to global liquidity on the rise. Guys, I'm expecting a bullish Q4. That's not a guarantee, but I think there's a high probability of that happening. All right, let's jump into some news. We got a report from Bloomberg that companies from Robinhood to Revolut are considering launching stablecoins, betting that stricter regulations in Europe and elsewhere will finally loosen Tether's grip on the sector. Now, folks, we heard about Revolut over the past couple of weeks, but Robinhood is the big reveal here. And Robinhood has a huge customer base, a big brand. They have expanded to Europe. They acquired Bitstamp Exchange. And for them to launch a stablecoin would be massive. Once again, they have a massive network of customers. So very smart move on their part. And it's similar to what PayPal did, where PayPal launched a stablecoin. And the stablecoin market is heating up, folks. Things are getting very interesting. Now, if you recall, just recently I interviewed Robinhood's crypto general manager, Johan Kurbit. If you haven't seen that interview, check it out, folks. I'll put a link in the description. But we had discussed stablecoins. Would Robinhood launch a stablecoin? He couldn't say that, of course. And he said he would come back on the podcast if they do. So I'm going to try to get him back on as we get more concrete news from Robinhood about this. But let me give you some details. According to a September 26 Bloomberg report citing unnamed sources, both Robinhood and Revolut are considering issuing their own stablecoins as the industry continues to expand. The stablecoin market has been largely dominated by Tether's USDT. The stablecoin issuer has benefited from the broader macroeconomic landscape and the crypto market turbulence over the past 2 years, including banking crises and regulatory crackdowns on firms in the United States. Now, we see that Circle is taking a lot of market share. Circle issues USDC. Ripple is about to launch a stablecoin called RLUSD. And the folks at VanEck, their subsidiary, launch a stablecoin called Agora Dollar or AUSD. So We'll see who wins, guys. The stablecoin market may become saturated, but that's normal in any growing and maturing market. You have a lot of competition. Competition's healthy for the market. Don't be surprised if in a few years some of these stablecoin issuers get acquired because the bigger whales are gonna, eat up the small fish, and some of the players may go out of business. That's just the nature of the business cycle. So, but this is bullish. Robinhood entering the stablecoin market would be huge, once again, given the amount of activity and user base that they have. Now, scumbag regulator Gary Gensler went on CNBC this morning and, of course, continued to spew his lies and his false narrative. And I think he went on TV to talk to the folks at CNBC to clean up some of the negative perception that was generated from the hearing this week with the SEC. He got hammered, right? He got embarrassed big time. So he's trying to flip the narrative as usual. But he made some surprising statements, and let me play the clip for you guys so you can hear it directly from the horse's mouth.
Former President Trump is talking about whether we should have effectively a Bitcoin reserve fund, a sovereign Bitcoin fund. Would you be in favor of something like that?
Again, I'm going to
take the policy out, take the politics out of it. I'm just asking, if someone in Congress came to you and said, hey, Gary, we're thinking of creating a sovereign wealth fund in Bitcoin, would you say that's a good idea? That's a bad idea?
I would say I'm going to stick to the role I'm in. It's a great role overseeing as chair of an agency.
But you're a very smart guy who knows a lot about this space. You've taught about this space. I imagine you have a view. Is it that you don't feel like you can share the view? Or it's that you don't have I don't believe you don't have a view.
No, I have a view. I have a view.
And you're saying it's the role, given your role, you think you're not supposed to say.
I think given my role, and also we're in election season. So I just think, for the listening public, I will stick to, my chalk lines. And my chalk lines are securities markets, and Chairman Powell and others at the Federal Reserve could speak to that. But yes, I do have a view on that.
Now, I have to give credit to Andrew Sorkin. He did a great job pressuring Gary and pushing him to say, hey, man, you understand this technology. You taught it at MIT. So why can't you give your opinion? And Gary, he made some statements like, my chalk lines, I must stay within my chalk lines. And I tweeted out about this. I said, your chalk lines, AKA what my TradFi puppet masters have told me to say and do. Also, Gary refuses to talk about Bitcoin and if it can be used as a reserve asset. This is just a technology. He can say, hey, I'm just giving my opinion. Yeah, I think it could be, but I don't have all the details. He refuses to say anything, stating that, it's election season. So what? Because Donald Trump supports that idea, you can't agree with it? I thought you were supposed to be a neutral party here, right? It's kind of nonsense, but it's typical Gary Gensler, right? He takes his marching orders from Elizabeth Warren, and they both take marching orders from TradFi. So as usual, scumbag activity from a scumbag regulator. Now, what's interesting, Mark Cuban yesterday went on Fox, and he was saying that he would like to take the SEC chair job. And we know Mark Cuban has been advising Kamala Harris's team about crypto and more. So it's funny that he said this. And of course, he's been tweeting about Gary being fired. He tweeted the other day, like, see ya, Gary Gensler, after Kamala Harris made statements about being supporting crypto and digital assets, right? But then all of a sudden, he appears in a photo today at CNBC's green room where he and Gary are together smiling. So I don't know what to make of this. It could just simply be that they took a photo together, right? I don't know. But people are calling him out saying, hey, man, I thought you were against Gensler. I thought you wanted him fired. I thought you won his job. And now you're smiling and hanging out with him. But once again, this is just one photo. We don't know the details there because they were both on CNBC today separately, not together. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Guys, tomorrow I will be interviewing Commissioner Hester Peirce, who, of course, was at the SEC hearing this week with Congress. And we're going to talk a lot about what took place at the hearing, next steps, and a whole bunch of stuff. So you don't want to miss that. I will have that published on Monday. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got the notification bell enabled. Also, guys, I will be interviewing billionaire and legendary investor Tim Draper next week. And many of you may recall the video from 2018 where he told Gensler to his face and everyone else how TradFi would attack this industry. Let me play the clip for you.
You mentioned Jamie Dimon, so let's bring it back to Jamie and JP Morgan
what do you think is going to be the thing that they will have to change the most or lose market share, and somebody else is going to do better, faster, serve their clients better than J.P. Morgan or Goldman Sachs can?
You can just hear the bankers panicking right now.
But what
just
what
feel
line,
the panic in their voices.
What's the line
but here's
of business that is most
well. Here's what always happens. The first thing that happens is they try to go, oh, it's nothing, and they did that. I mean, that's with every new industry, every new technology comes along. The powers that be, the incumbents, the status quo, all say it's nothing. Don't ignore the man behind the curtain. This is nothing. And then all of a sudden it's too big to get in there. They're going, oh my God, I got to face this thing. And then they all line up and they wrap their arms together and they say, we're not letting this happen. And then it keeps going. And then they say, okay, well, let's sue them. Or let's go get the government.
There's another thing they do. They adopt the technology. I think.
No, that's at the end.
They will adopt this technology.
No, this is the last thing they do. No,
yeah, it's like
it's after. It's after. Right. It's after the press planting. They plant the press stories. They put out lawsuits. They create as much of a fuss as possible. They try to get their government friends involved. And then they go, oh God, this thing's happening. And then they go, okay, what are we going to do? How do we get it? So then they either make or buy, as all great companies do. They go, am I going to make this or am I going to buy it? Am I going to make an exchange, or am I going to make a new kind of wallet? Am I going to bring it in so my clients can use this?
Wow, folks, wasn't he spot on? I mean, just incredible. He had an amazing foresight here. And the irony of this situation is that Gensler, who he was telling this to, became the SEC chair a couple of years later, and Gary became the tool that TradFi weaponized against the crypto industry. Lawsuits, lies, a lot of regulatory capture, regulation by enforcement, Elizabeth Warren forming the anti-crypto army. So as I've been telling you guys for years, that call was made from Jamie Dimon and Goldman Sachs. Kill these crypto startups, slow them down so that we can catch up. And we saw the two things happening in parallel, right? Wall Street now here, ETFs, tokenization, building, launching their own blockchains. JP Morgan has its own blockchain. It has its own stablecoin called JPM coin. They have a Bitcoin wealth fund, despite what Jamie was saying publicly. So I think those of us who have been here long enough and have been watching what they're doing, have been seeing the statements they make on TV and so forth, and what has been happening on the regulatory side, and how Wall Street is now here, one could argue they're taking it over, right? The ETFs, I think, is a big play on that. BNY Mellon just got a green light to custody crypto, bypassing the SOB 121 rule. So mom and pop, the average Joe and Jane, not us early adopters, will most likely go to ETFs and BlackRock and Fidelity and BNY Mellon and JP Morgan. So Tim was spot on. And like I said, I'm going to be talking to him next week. I'm going to bring up this clip and we're going to talk about, in hindsight, how he thinks things have played out. And it's incredible how it have played out exactly like he said. So make sure you're subscribed, folks. Now, a quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain, which is one of the top layer 1 enterprise blockchains out there, folks. Many big companies are using VeChain to build Web3 technology and decentralized app ecosystems. The VeChain blockchain is secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. Some of the big companies working with VeChain include Givenchy, BMW, Boston Consulting Group, PwC, Walmart China, and much more. I am a VET token holder. I'm very bullish on this project. I believe it's going to be a winner, and that's why I selected them as a sponsor. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vechain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, guys, we have some incredibly big news. Maxine Waters. Many of you know she's very much a big fan of Elizabeth Warren and a big fan of Gary Gensler. And of course, she was blowing kisses to Sam Bankman-Fried and buddying up to him, when he was making big donations to the Democrats. And don't get me wrong, he donated to Republicans as well. but she was all buddy buddy with him. But she's been a big hurdle in the way of getting legislation through. I remember when Patrick McHenry got really pissed at her and a bunch of the folks because he was hoping they would work to get these things done. But something is changing here, folks. I think with the election spending that crypto's been doing, over $200 million, a lot of Democrats in the House and the Senate, big Democrats like Chuck Schumer, turning against her, Elizabeth Warren and Gary, and saying, hey, we're going to pass crypto legislation. I think it's now forcing her hands, plus Kamala Harris's comments and so forth. Folks, in an interview yesterday, she said, crypto is inevitable. Wow, what a statement. My goodness. I can't believe it, right? Has hell frozen over? Are pigs flying outside? But guys, like I've been telling you for a long time, this technology will win. When you zoom out from all the politics and all the noise, and you look throughout history, through our human civilization, disruptive technology always wins. Even if there's roadblocks being put up and the incumbents fight back, they're not going to win. Disruptive technology always wins, folks. So she was interviewed by Punchbowl News, and it says the top Democrat of the House Financial Services Committee has spent the last 2 years acting as a prominent bulwark against the influence of the crypto sector in Congress. But in an interview Wednesday, Representative Maxine Waters, a Democrat out of California, acknowledged how the political environment has changed in recent months. Crypto is inevitable, Waters said. There are countries that are way ahead of us. I can't believe I'm reading this. But guys, this is why I'm so bullish. This is why I'm so bullish, because we are seeing the Overton window shifting for crypto. It's incredible. I did a full write-up on this, the Overton window. I'll be doing a micro documentary soon about it as well. It's amazing. And look, most of the credit has to go to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the one who kicked this off because, yes, you could argue crypto is spending a lot of money, but Donald Trump started embracing the industry, putting out policy, going to Bitcoin conference and so forth. So he is the one that has to get the credit here for shifting the window. And obviously, if you understand how the Overton window works, it then forces the opponent to then embrace it as well and then lead to policy, folks. Now, bunch of folks weighed in on this. So I want to share the different perspectives from these different folks. Paul Grewal, Chief Legal Officer at Coinbase, said, we couldn't agree more, Representative Maxine Waters. Congress should pass legislation now, and SEC should immediately reverse its misguided, unlawful refusal to initiate rulemaking. The rest of the world is not waiting for us to get our act together. Jake Traversy said, this is by far the most positive thing we've ever heard from Representative Maxine Waters on crypto, who's likely to be chair of financial services again if Democrats retake the House. Democrats can't stay anti-crypto with leadership talking like this. Never underestimate how fast things can change in DC. Beautifully said. Here, Faryar Shahzad of Coinbase said, great to see Representative Maxine Waters recognize that 1, crypto is inevitable, 2, that the political environment is changing, and 3, that we need to take action as the U.S. falls further behind. Looking forward to keeping the conversation going on a bipartisan basis and hopefully advancing U.S. national interests very soon through sensible federal legislation. Folks, I know I keep repeating myself. I am so bullish. I saw Chuck Schumer said he's ready to push legislation through by the end of the year. They're trying to get it done in the lame duck session. And look, one may say, yeah, it's not going to happen, blah, blah. But look, no one saw Fit 21 coming and that 71 Democrats would join Republicans to pass the bill. And remember what's happening right now with the election spending. Crypto's the largest super PAC spending over $200 million. So the money is going to support pro-crypto candidates on the Democrat and Republican side. So exciting times ahead, my friends. All right. Core blockchain surpasses $400 million TVL, leading the charge in Bitcoin Layer 2 scaling solutions. So Core is trying to scale Bitcoin with an L2, and looks like things are heating up here. I had interviewed one of the, if not the founder, I don't recall the exact title, but one of the folks from Core DAO earlier this year. So Core's TVL has jumped from near zero in early 2024 to its current position, taking the top spot over other Bitcoin L2 solutions like Rootstock and BitLayer. So things are progressing, folks. We'll see how these layer twos do for Bitcoin. I haven't really seen any that have done anything from a mainstream adoption standpoint. You know, some have done things that are popular within the crypto community, but from a mainstream adoption where the average Joe and Jane can use these things, I haven't seen anything there. And I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying we're not there yet. But good to see that this is happening. Now, Solana, DePin, Mawari network raises $10.8 million in new funding. I'm not sure how many of you know about DePin. This is another sector of tokens. So let me give you the details for those who may not know. It's called Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks, which uses blockchains and token rewards to decentralize infrastructure in the real world where individuals contribute physical infrastructure resources across fields such as transport, energy, and wireless connectivity. So DePin is an acronym for that full title, right? So Mawari Network has raised $10.8 million in strategic funding from Borderless Capital, 1KX, and others. The Solana DePin project is building a network aimed at scaling spatial computing. Now, one item here I want to call out, this is really great for Solana. It's not just meme coins, right? Solana needs to go beyond meme coins for people to take it seriously. And don't get me wrong, I hold some Sol tokens because I see the liquidity going there. And there's been a lot of network activity. They seem to have addressed their network downtime. That's good. However, I need to see more beyond meme coins, and this is a good sign. So that's the news, folks. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. And don't forget to sign up for my free email newsletter on Substack. It's 100% free. It includes crypto insights and knowledge. Be sure to check that out. And be sure to grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon in digital and paperback. Grab a copy to support the podcast. Grab a few copies for your friends and family as gifts for this holiday. Help them to learn about crypto before we head into that massive bull run so they don't get wrecked, right? They have to understand what's happening here and what to look out for. The book includes investment tips and so forth. And if you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It will really help me out. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all. And I'll talk to you all later.